Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dev here, and today I've got a very exciting video for you guys. We are going to be looking at a machine learning plugin from Planfinder that, as you can see on our screen, lets us automatically create floor plans for residential buildings. I've tested this plugin for the past hour or two and it is genuinely amazing. And the best part about this plugin is that it's available for Rhino and Revit, and we can actually export the geometry that we get from this system here. So as you can see, it's auto-created floor plans for us. This geometry, we can later use it in Revit, right? So here, this is native Revit geometry in terms of wall types, door families, toilet families, and it's available in 3D. The fact that we now have machine learning that kind of automates the boring stuff for us, focusing on stuff like floor plans, stuff that people enjoy less. Recently, we've seen stuff with AI visuals, and don't get me wrong, that stuff's great, but people actually enjoy doing visuals. It's not something they want to automate as much. Whereas plans, people do want to automate, and honestly this plugin is actually at a usable stage for early concept design. So another cool thing about this plugin is that they've actually got a 30-day free trial that you lots can check out now. It's an uncut trial, so you're allowed to test all the features. The price afterwards is €50 per month. It's not exactly the cheapest nor the most expensive, but I mean, try it in terms of the free trial. It's a very generous free trial. And in terms of what it's available for Rhino 7, Grasshopper 3D, currently Revit 2023. Revit 2024 just came out, so I believe they need some time to update. Easy to install, and you're going to find it in your Planfinder Revit tab. If you guys do enjoy this video, I would very much appreciate it if you can leave a like, and let's get into it. Okay, so now that we're in Revit, let's begin. So if I go to the architecture tab and I want to generate a basic apartment, let's just keep it a rectangle for now. I'm going to keep my party walls or my external walls as 300mm thick. Let me just go there. And one thing I want to show you guys is that I'm using this London Housing Design Quality and Standards Guide, because if I go to page 25 here, I'm able to see what kind of realistic area I need for the type of bedrooms and number of bed spaces I'm using. Because this plugin doesn't work with stairs, we can only make it a single story dwelling. So if I want an apartment that's 2 bedrooms that fits 4 people, so 2 double beds, I know I need an apartment of at least 70 square meters in order for it to work, or around that number, right? So if I go to Revit here, and let's say this this wall, if I make this 10 meters wide minimum, and then, or maximum, and then, okay, so instead of making it 7 meters exactly, I'm going to leave it at 7200, just because I want it a bit bigger so we can play with the variation, right? Then what you want to do is you want to go to your Planfinder tab, and you want to click on the generate button. One thing to note is that the actual instructions of using this plugin isn't the most obvious. This is something they can improve. So in order, if you click on this button and you're not sure what to do, if you click on the bottom left, this is where your instructions are. It's kind of bizarre, to be honest. So if I click, so as you can see here, it says, please select a point surrounded by walls. So what you need to do is create a temporary room for the plugin to realize what the apartment is you're dealing with. So if I click here, there we go. And now you can see it says get facades. Now I need to click on the walls that are going to be the facade of the buildings, or where the windows are going to be hosted, so we have some light fenestration. Because this plugin is using machine learning, it's going to position stuff like the kitchen, the dining space, the bedrooms closer to the spaces that require light, and stuff like toilets or storage further away from it, just because this is made to be suited to regs, right? This is so it's actually kind of useful. So if I select these two here and I hit finish, there we go. And now here you can see it says, please select the entrance of the plan. So where's my front entrance going to be? So I guess if these two are my facade, I can put the door somewhere here. Now as the plugin loads, you can see here that it's starting to generate options. So as it goes 1, 2, 3, it's going to generate more until the maximum amount we can see it get. This is currently the loading bar here. So when it's done, we can see what we have. Okay, so here we have 8 options, and these are all the stuff that's ticked for us. In general, if we want to cycle through the 8 options that it's generated, all we have to do is click on these buttons here, and as you can see, it's given us different options in terms of the unit layout, right? So here we have living on this side for some of the spaces. Now we have living down here, bedrooms, flipping positions. It's actually quite cool, right? In terms of, these are all automatically generated for us in real time. This is why this plugin is so good. I find it amazing. Another thing I want to show you guys too is that if your bedroom or if your space that you've got currently has enough space to kind of flip options in terms of furniture layout, you can do that. So if I double click inside a living here, for example, you can see that it's given us this green outline, right? we are currently flipping the furniture layout or the furniture in the room to a different configuration, and this is something that I find is so amazing. So say something for this bed space as well. So if I click on bed here, and you can see it's got this green outline, we're flipping how the bed and the table are configured. So this side we have a bedside table, only bedside tables and no storage. Here we've got the bed on this side of the face, and it knows to put a table there or kind of a wardrobe there. Same thing with the bathroom as well. So if I click on the bathroom here, you can see it goes from bath to bath, toilet, sink. Click on it again, 2 sinks for some reason, I guess. A shower, a toilet. Now it goes shower, sink, toilet in different position. And for example, storage, there's nothing you can put there. I mean, that's fine. You can't flip through that. You can obviously do these through different ones. So this bed configuration can swap, so can this living. But also, one thing you can do is you can actually change the configuration of some rooms, right? So let's say, for example, that if I wanted this bathroom door to be on this side, I can obviously push this in Revit, but I'm also able to do it here. So if I right click on this room here and I click change door, you can see I can host where I want the door to actually be. So if I want it on this side, so it's straight from the living for whatever reason, there we go, we can see the doors now in this position. Same thing, if I hit change door, I can choose if I want it more on that side. And you can see that even when we change the door, the actual configuration of the room is changing. That's why this is so amazing to me. And say, for example, this is a bed. Okay, if I don't want this to be, say if I wanted a 1 bed or if I wanted 2 bathrooms, I can change it there. But if I really like this layout, I can just right click on it, change function, and I can change this to bath. There we go, I've got another bathroom installed. And let's say if I wanted this to be an ensuite, for example, all I can do is change door, and now I can move it to this side of the bedroom. There we go, this person's got a really like large ensuite. But you can see how intuitive this plugin is. I haven't even gone through these other options, but it's really nice to play with. That's why I think this plugin is so great. It's really easy to use, and like I said, afterwards when we hit OK, we're able to get this into Revit. Okay, so if I go back here now, there we go to one of these examples. As you can see, I'm able to chuck some of these options on. So for example, if I wanted a meter box on, and let's say if I wanted only 1 bathroom instead of 2, if I hit generate now, you see, as I've generated this option where I've said 2 beds and 1 bathroom, it's actually only given me 2 options, 1 and 2 here. They're actually quite similar. But also one thing you can do is go through the settings. So in terms of input, I could choose whether I wanted the entrance to be a point. So initially it was a point. If I wanted it to be a wall, that means this door would change continuously from there to there, and my unit layouts obviously change a lot more drastically. But usually you would probably identify where you'd want your door to be specifically. Same thing for the facade. If I know where if I want to change where the fenestration is afterwards, I can just click on walls and update this, no worries. In terms of settings, if we go here, I can actually choose what type of wall type in Revit I want these internal walls to be, and that's really useful. So here it's this 100mm wall. Say if I wanted it to be a 300mm wall, for example, same as the exterior, there we go, these walls have now changed. When I hit OK, they're going to use that same wall type in Revit. So I'm just going to chuck this back to 100. When it comes to door types, I can choose what door type I wanted as a family. This is amazing. So here you can see the door type interior, what's used continuously around this. Don't worry, afterwards, like you can do in Revit, once you hit OK, you're able to tab in and change the doors manually. This is just for the plugin. Door type exterior is what the front door is going to be. So here you can choose if you want something smaller or bigger. One thing to note is that this doesn't update fully. So if I do mini door, you can see, or small door, you can see that the actual cut of the wall's gone smaller, but the swing's still there. Once you hit OK, it's going to finalize better in Revit, but this is just for the preview. I guess it hasn't fully updated. And you can choose also how you want the door swings to go as you go inside rooms, right? So this one, it says door opens inside living. If I turn that off, you can see now we now have to pull the door to get inside the living. Same thing for the bedrooms. All this can be changed in Revit, and it probably is a lot easier to change in Revit, but I guess this plugin was made for the same software in terms of Rhino and Revit. Maybe it isn't as easy to do in Rhino, but hey, we've got this option in Revit anyway. So there we go, we can cycle through the layouts. And now what I'm going to show you is if I just go here and I hit OK, you can see we get this message that says first time loading the furniture families, no worries, that's fine. And when I hit OK, this is something that genuinely amazed me as well. We've also got the rooms that is generated from Revit, as well as the correct names for them as well. And the best thing about this, like I said, because these are families, the families we've specified, we can change these to different types here. So if I wanted this one to be another one, there we go. Just like we would change any other type of geometry in Revit, flip it how we want. We've got the customization of it. I thought this was just so cool the way it like does this. One thing to note is that it doesn't actually put the windows there for you. I'm hoping that's something you can, the plugin will upgrade in the future, but I kind of guess why it doesn't, because the furniture or the facade, sorry, is something you'd probably want to put a lot more effort into, especially how you want it to look architecturally. So this is mainly just to give a unit internal. Fair enough, it's done its part in terms of identifying where the main areas of light would be, and it works. And if we go in 3D here, let's say if I make all these walls to level 1, here you can see as well, it's also made the walls go from level 0 to level 1, made it very neatly modeled. And here all this furniture is in 3D. Like the fact that it's done all this for us and we can use this is genuinely mind-boggling. The fact that we've got all this right now, I find this plugin insane, the fact that I can do all of this. So like I said, if I go to floor plans here, I can choose what I want, I can turn off rooms, I can manipulate everything I need. Okay, so let's look at another example. This one we are going to look at the fit function. So if I click on fit, here you can see it says please select the points surrounded by walls, so middle of the room, there we go. Please select the entrance of the plan. So for here, I'm just going to select around here. And for this one, what we need to do is we need to go to input. And like I said, for the facade, if I click on this one for walls, I'm going to assume that all 4 of these walls are the facade. So 2 normal facades there, and I'm going to assume that this one's a balcony, okay? If I hit finish, there we go. We can see that these walls have now become our windows, right, where windows are placed. One thing to note on this function is that this blue line is where the default of our Revit walls were in terms of our perimeter, right? This function or this feature is not going to constrain our walls exactly where we want it to be. If we go to settings here, you can see we have some fit settings. These are going to provide some variations, or this function is going to provide some variations where essentially what we're going to do is we're going to either grow the unit a little bit or shrink it a little bit. And essentially what it allows us to do is play with different options in terms of, can we get a 1 bed here? Can we get a 2 bed here? Can we get 1 bathroom, 2 bathrooms? You're essentially just given a rough area and you're going to try wiggle it a bit in terms of the parameters. And you're going to see what is the most efficient unit layout I can get. Can I get a really nice 1 bed here? Can I get a 2 bed here? Is the 2 bed too tight? So it's just literally adjusting and seeing what is the best kind of unit arrangement I can get within this space, okay? So if I go to settings here, and let's say I don't want to downscale it too much, maximum by 2%, maximum for the upscaling, and the amount of plans that you want to change. So, okay, so the amount of plans is how many different variations you have. So if I do 15, there we go. If I go to filter, country, I'm not going to do anything for now. Let's say if I want to have at least 2 beds. So this one is a test. So, okay, I can have 2 beds there. Can I have 3 there? Okay, so I can have 5 3 beds. Okay, so let's say if I want so here you can see I can only have 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom to fit in, and we have to change it quite a bit. So let's do 2 beds and 1 bed. There we go. And okay, 2 beds, 2 bathrooms. There we go. So essentially these are my 2 options: 1 bed, 2 bed, 1 bathroom, 2 bathroom, all of them. And we can choose minimum areas that I want. That's fine. So as I cycle through here now, if I go through here, you can see that as I go, I can do the same thing as before in terms of change functions. But this is one apartment where it's given me a 2 bedroom here and a single bedroom here and quite a decent living space. I think it's got 1 bathroom, 1 WC. If I go to, I guess the WC is included in terms of bathrooms here. But in order for this to work, I'd actually have to expand beyond my kind of perimeter that I drew, but I'd have to shrink it a bit below here. So it's kind of varying the perimeter that we've given. Same thing for this one. If I want to kind of shrink the perimeter over there, but increase it past this point. But here I've got 2 bedrooms. This definitely isn't the most efficient one, as you can see. So if I went here, change door, you can see I can change the door to any one of these locations, and it would end up saying, oh, you can put a wardrobe there, oh look, now this one becomes a ensuite, I guess, which is quite nice. So if I do change door, there we go, let's push it there. Now this one is obviously an ensuite. This bedroom has that one there. This one has this bathroom there, and I guess we're close to the living, but it's a bit odd the fact that you have to go through all the way here. Anyway, this isn't focusing on the architecture, I'm just focusing on the plugin. But as you can see, as we go through these options, it changes quite a bit. So for this one, it's saying actually we can bring in the right hand side perimeter a bit, but we'd have to extend it here. And here we have a 1 bedroom instead of 2. So this is kind of how the fit function works. It is useful, I guess, but it's a bit more random. So if I just hit OK here, we can see that this one's going to be generated in Revit as well. One thing is though, is that our walls need adjustment here manually. So if I go there, bring that out there, or however it was, I'm not going to fix it, but just know that your external walls need to have some adjustment here. Okay, and the last feature that I'm going to show you guys is the Furnish feature. So this is the one where you provide an empty room and it's going to give you different combinations of the furniture that's currently available to regs. So here I've deleted all the stuff from the bedroom and we're going to regenerate it again. So if I go to Furnish and I click on the room, here it says candidate because it's available. If I click on it, there we go, and it says select the rooms or the apartments you want to furnish. There we go, so just that one. I'm going to click finish, get the facade. So the facade is on this side, and if I hit finish, there we go. And now please select the entrance of the plan. So let's say if I select it to be somewhere, let's do here. There we go, so this is where it is. And now here you can see that the actual wall isn't aligning in terms of the plan. So if I go to settings, wall type interior, let's make it back to the 100mm one that I have. There we go. And now it says living as the function, so I need to change it to bed. There we go. And here you can see it isn't as, I found that the Furnish feature isn't as smart as the other ones when it was first generating it. So here I have to double click on it again and again and again in order to get a bedroom that's actually usable. But there we go, it's auto aligned it for us. And now I can hit OK. And here we've actually generated the bedroom. So here you can see the plugin gets a bit buggy. I don't think the Furnish feature is actually ready yet, how it should be. I mean, the fact that it could work with a trickier shape just on the generate or the fit function, but the fact that Furnish couldn't work on such a simple shape on a bedroom where we've assigned the door, it's just a bit odd. Maybe this feature needs a bit more work. Sometimes this plugin doesn't really recognize the edges of the walls properly. Like when we done the generate tab, it kind of recognized that this was the external wall and that this one had to be 300 and that these walls were like 300mm thick, and these ones when it was generated it was 100mm, but here as a square it only recognized all these walls need to be 100mm thick as their perimeter. So as you can see, these parts are kind of extending out. It's kind of a bit sad. So maybe that can be improved on. And another one is if I go to the Furnish tab here, and let's say if I worked with the bathroom, I'm just going to show you something. If I go here and I delete all this stuff, there we go. If I went to Furnish here and I wanted to furnish this bathroom the same way, if I click on this room, I hit finish, and if it says get facades, because this part of the building has no facade, like I mentioned before, it was here. If I just hit finish, there we go, it says you haven't got a facade, we can't continue carrying on with it. If I do the same with Furnish and I click on this room here and then I hit finish and then I select the other facades that I've assigned to it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, there we go, and I hit finish, it says you need to select a wall that's currently on the boundary of the room. If you hit close, you can't furnish a wall just because it's not by the facade. Like I said, I find this a bit strange just because it obviously worked before. You know, when we generated the overall unit plan based on the boundary, it worked flawlessly, but now it doesn't. So I guess the Furnish tab needs to go through quite a bit of changes. Hopefully it can be improved, because generate and fit actually works well in general. Fit, it would be good if we can move the walls to the edge of the boundary, as we saw before. I had to manually do it. Not a biggie. One other thing that I would like, and I think it's very vital for the plugin to update, is the UI. The fact that you have to click on something here, but then all the instructions are at the bottom left here, it just, as a beginner as well, especially if you want beginners to use this, they're going to be very confused. Like, I had to look everywhere on my screen just to find out where the instructions are, and only because I use Dynamo, I know to look top left here and also bottom left. This part genuinely needs to be improved to make it more user friendly. And another thing that I hope could be improved is the fact that if you could have varying wall thicknesses. So for example, these walls are 300mm thick. These ones are going to be 500 because of the facade ones. If I went to generate here, and let's say I selected these two and I made these two my facade, there we go, and I made this one the entrance door. If I generate here, and I'm just going to give you a quick example, if I go here, as soon as it's done, I'm just going to hit OK. There we go. So once I hit OK and I just move that door, here you can see that our furniture is actually clashing with the door, right? I think it assumes that all the walls are going to be 300mm around it from the edge. You see here, you can see it fit more appropriately. This is something you can easily fix, don't get me wrong. I could move the walls out a bit more, but I just hope, in terms of efficiency, I think it'll be good if the plugin can address this, especially since they are asking you for the facade, and the facade normally is thicker compared to like a party wall or something. But in general, this plugin is definitely worth trying out. You know, it's really fun. Like I said, I'm not hating on them in terms of these features. I genuinely want to see this plugin improved. I think it's got great potential, especially staying on. Like I said, this is kind of automating the boring stuff. This is kind of the stuff that architects want automated, less so the visuals, because those are the fun stuff, but not everyone enjoys like messing around with plans and to make them all to regs. So yeah, hats off to Planfinder for this plugin. I very much enjoyed it. And that's it from me. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like. It does help me out a lot. Cheers.